Hello again, and welcome to another one of my videos where I spotlight some of the Blu-ray and 4K disc releases that have come down the pike in recent weeks. There's quite a few of them on this video. A really interesting assortment of titles from different studios. So, if anybody out there is unfamiliar, I do a podcast, Adam's Corner. It's found on Spotify, Apple, all those places where you normally go. And these videos are a supplement to those podcasts where I talk about I do a monthly rundown of all the Blu-ray and 4K physical media releases. And this is a supplement where you can actually see what I'm talking about. So let's get right to it, shall we? Let's first start with this Universal Pictures Home Entertainment release of Ted Season 1. Now, this was, I believe it was a Hulu show, or maybe it was Peacock. I can't remember. Anyway, debuted in January. It's a prequel to the films Ted 1 and 2. 4 hours and 44 minutes, 6 episodes worth of the shenanigans of Ted from the character and his the Bostonian teenager John Bennett, whom he lives with. Anyway, this is a spread to 2 discs. The quality is stellar, of course, as it is with most modern productions. And so what can I tell you? Season 1 from Seth MacFarlane of Ted, and I think there's a Season 2 coming down the pike. I think Dana Gould, the comedian whom I am a big fan of, is doing some of the co-writing chores on the next season. I can't remember if he did any of the co-writing chores on this one. So Universal Pictures Home Entertainment releasing a Ted Season 1. Wanted to make sure that everybody knew about that. And let's put this in a place here to make sense. Anyway, let's see. Next, we've got a Kino Lorber roundup. There's quite a few of those titles that are coming out in the month of October. Rian Johnson's debut film, Brick, which is a modern film noir. He gets it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt getting a call friend from his distressed girlfriend, and then she turns up dead, and he wants to get to the bottom of it and figure out what happened. It's a really interesting film. A lot of people were fans of this when it came out. I have a lot of friends who were really personally invested in this film and were really excited about it getting a 4K Ultra HD release from Kino Lorber, licensed, of course, from Universal Pictures. Terrific transfer. And this film was made in 2005, so it's more modern than some of the other titles that I'm going to be talking about. But nevertheless, there's an audio commentary here by Rian Johnson and some of the actors and the producer and the production designer, and audio commentary by professor and film scholar Jason A. Ney on the new 4K disc. 8 deleted and extended scenes with introduction by Rian Johnson and the inside track, which is about the casting. Theatrical trailer. So you get a nice addition, nice Ultra HD upgrade for Brick from the great folks at Kino Lorber Studio Classics, and we're always grateful for what they're doing. Now, moving along, this one I haven't even gotten to open yet, so I guess I'm going to do the chores right here as we are talking. And that is well, maybe we'll go to another title that I have open. So, So let's go to a few of the titles that I've already opened, and we'll get back to those Kino releases here in a moment. A Nightmare on Elm Street in 4K, the original 1984. This contains the theatrical version and the original uncut version. So you get, there's several alternate takes here, filmmaking secrets behind the Nightmare franchise, commentary, multiple commentaries, alternate endings, 3 featurettes. Great 4K upgrade, I would say, although some of the darker sequences in the film, they are pretty dark, but this film was made on a limited budget, of course. So, if you may have to tweak your monitor a little bit for some of the darker sequences, I would say. But the bit rates here are in the around 60, 70 megabytes per second or whatever. So, it's fairly solid transfer, I would say. So, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck if you want to do the upgrade of Nightmare on Elm Street. I would say it's recommended, as is another horror classic from the 80s that came out 2 years later, or about a year and a half after A Nightmare on Elm Street, and that would be The Hitcher, which is a much anticipated Ultra HD upgrade. This has been talked about for a while, and the film elements were hard to find, and they finally secured them, and so there's what you get. This is the second side is putting out a deluxe edition. It's a UK label, I believe. But this is the bare bones, pretty much bare bones. There's only a commentary here with the director and the writer, and an interview with the director. That's all you get for extras. But the picture quality, if you don't want to spend the big bucks for the second side edition, this is really good stuff in terms of picture quality. 80 to 90 megabytes per second, just really great stellar picture quality on the Hitcher. And of course, this is a horror film that was dismissed by critics, especially Siskel and Ebert. They famously thought that it was just too violent and too it was a film that left them with bad vibes, I guess you would say. I saw it in a theater in March of '86, or I think it was around March of '86 when it came out. Anyway, it was early '86. I saw it in a theater on a weekday night. I was in 10th grade at the time, and I quite liked it at the time, as is the case with Nightmare on Elm Street. I saw that in April of '85, and that was the first R-rated film I ever saw in a theater. My mother just dropped me off at the theater, and I was able to go see the movie of my choosing, and that's what it was. And I really enjoyed that. So anyway, we're going to open up a few of these Kino Lorber titles that we talked about, that I teased about a minute ago. One of which is Classic Ghosts. And it's been such a busy month here, I haven't had time to get into all these. But Classic Ghosts is 1970s Gothic television restored and rediscovered. These are virtually unseen since their late-night airings on ABC television in 1973. It's a series of 5 feature-length teleplays shot on videotape, beautifully preserved by the UCLA Film and Television Archive. You get some really interesting guest stars on this. David McCallum, Vincent Gardenia, Carrie Nye, Beatrice Straight, Susan Sarandon, James Keach, Gwen Verdon, Perry King, just to name a few. Just really interesting stuff here. I'm told these are pretty creepy and effective, and the Halloween season being upon us as we speak, as we record this. Yes, this would be a good time to dig into these, and I'm hoping to dig into them sometime in the next week, or at least a couple of them, and see what I think about them as well. I'm very excited. So kudos to, and it's a Blu-ray, even though these were shot on videotape. This is a Blu-ray release from Kino Lorber Studio Classics, and so we're grateful for this from them. They're always just really it's amazing what their output on these titles. And God bless them, as the saying goes, right? So anyway, Garbo Talks is a Sidney Lumet, the legendary director Sidney Lumet directed this. It's about a woman who's obsessed with Greta Garbo, and played by Anne Bancroft, and she's just dying to meet her. And also starring Ron Silver, Carrie Fisher, Catherine Hicks. Written by Larry Grusin. Not familiar with his filmography. Never saw Garbo Talks, but I'm a Sidney Lumet fan, and I'm excited, I must say, to see this soon, hopefully. Audio commentary by film historians Howard S. Berger and Steve Mitchell. And again, I do apologize that I haven't actually gotten to look at the quality of some of these discs to actually give you a real, genuine review. Some of these I have looked at, as I said, like the Hitcher, Nightmare on Elm Street. I've looked at those. Those look really great. But some of these I just haven't gotten to. It's just so busy, as you'll see. And so another one here is Up the Creek. This has been previously issued by Kino Lorber Studio Classics. This is a comedy. Tim Matheson, Dan Monahan, Stephen Furst from Animal House, and Tim Matheson from Animal House as well. This has previously been issued, but it's been reissued here with a slipcase, as you can see. This includes Without a Paddle, featurette with actors Stephen Furst and Sandy Helberg, casting director Harriet Helberg, Cheap Trick Up the Creek music video, and it's about 2 less than collegiate college students, and they are anyway they're hoping to bring some glory to their school by winning an winning an intercollegiate whitewater raft race, and shenanigans ensue. I've seen this, but it's been a long time, and so I needed to rely on the capsule summation on the back there. So anyway, Up the Creek, though, has been issued for fans of 80s comedies, and you know who you are. I'm a fan of them. Come on, I grew up in that era. What can I tell you? So Plenty is directed by the great Australian director Fred Schepisi. who also did Iceman and Barbarossa and many other interesting films. Roxanne with Steve Martin. You've got Meryl Streep as a former World War II French resistance fighter who has trouble fitting back into formal British society after the war. And this stars the musician Sting of the Police, of course, Ian McKellen, Sam Neill, based on a stage play by David Hare, who also wrote The Hours. Like I said, this is a film that I remember very well when it came out, but I never got around to seeing it. I was kind of averse to these period dramas when I was a teenager when this film came out. Now I appreciate them, but back then I was kind of on my cinematic diet was quite different in those days than it is now. So we're moving along to one of the Criterion releases of the month. The only one that I received actually was Harmony Korine's Gummo, which he wrote the film Kids. And so Kids was such a success in 1995 that he got his chance to direct. And it's, it's shot in Nashville, standing in for the tornado-ravaged Xenia, Ohio. And it's about a couple of kids who run around town sniffing glue and hunting stray cats, and their every local encounter is charged with vaudevillian anarchy as well as deep pathos, it says. So, this film was divisive. Some critics liked it, and some just didn't care for it at all. I did take a peek at the quality, and the quality is quite good on this transfer, and you do get a booklet there, of course. So I wanted to... I haven't gotten a chance to watch the whole film. I never saw the film. I didn't see it when it came out. I remember when it came out, of course, but just never got around to it. This is licensed from Warner Brothers, and Fine Line Features was the original distributor on this. You get new interview with Korine, conversations from 1997 between Korine and filmmaker Werner Herzog, split screen projections inside from 2000 featuring Korine in conversation with host John Pearson, a trailer in the booklet, of course. As I said, Gummo is now available in 4K Ultra HD for the first time ever, and that's Criterion. Sony Classics, Sony Pictures has released the very critically acclaimed documentary American Movie, and this is a very comedic documentary, I would say, and it's about these two people these two guys in Wisconsin who are determined to make a horror film, and no matter what the odds, even though they have no talent. And this is just a really, really interesting and funny, very funny documentary. It's a real film. It's they're not setting out to make fun of these characters that the movie is made about, but you can't help but laugh at them as they are just bound and determined to make this horror film. So you actually get the horror film that they were attempting to make, Coven, and you get the director and cast commentary, deleted scenes, and theatrical trailer. This was really in need of a new transfer. I'm so glad they did this. It's a great film from the early 2000s. I think 2000 was the year it was released. And this film was never awarded a Blu-ray release, so it never got a high-definition release in any format. So, it's good to have American Movie from Sony Pictures, and it's originally a Sony Pictures Classic, a distribution label that's still around, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, which is amazing. So we have Addams Family Values coming out in Ultra HD 4K. This is the original Addams Family from 1991 was released several years ago in 4K with an extended cut. Addams Family Values was not issued around that time, so finally they've gotten around to releasing. This is one of those rare sequels that's actually better than the original, I think. The original's fine; it has some humorous moments in it, but I think the sequel, Addams Family Values, is a much better film, just more clever, funnier, and I just really, really enjoy it. Paul Rudnick is the writer on this. He did not write the original one, and he would later go on to write In and Out, which came out via Kino Lorber a couple of months ago. Crafting Family Values featurette and a commentary is all you get for the extras, but this is a great addition. I'm glad they put this out in 4K Ultra HD. And we have a Prairie Home Companion from Warner Archive, and this is one of the Warner Archive. I'm trying to get that where you can see it without the glare. Prairie Home Companion was the final film for the legendary director Robert Altman. It wasn't intended to be his final film, but it just turned out that way. He was suffering from, I think, cancer at that point, to the point where to the degree that Paul Thomas Anderson was brought in as a stand-in director in case he wasn't able to complete the film. This is a fictionalized version of what would happen on the as the long-running public radio show A Prairie Home Companion comes to an end. It actually didn't end in reality for close to another decade, but this is a fictitious version of what might happen if it did. And there's a lot of interesting subtext here about death and the end and what happens at the end and all of that stuff. There's a mysterious woman amongst the shenanigans that are going on, and who's apparently an angel. So there's a lot of that, a little metaphysical stuff going on here. So yeah, this is a film that I'm so glad to have in Blu-ray. Really a big fan of this. I think it's a great send-off for Robert Altman. You get additional scenes, behind-the-scenes documentary, commentary with Altman and Kevin Kline. So he was able to do a commentary before he passed on later the same year that it was released in 2006. So Prairie Home Companion getting a Warner Archive Blu-ray release, and they always do stellar work. You don't have to worry about the transfers because their work is always great. Now I get stuff from Arrow Video, and I get what they call check discs. So I get the actual discs that are production versions of these films. I don't get the actual ones with the cases. That would be nice, but it is what it is. I'm grateful to get what I get. And I just wanted to go through a couple of the new releases from Arrow Video. And one of them is Trick or Treat, not the 1986 film directed by Charles Martin Smith. I sure would like to have that in Blu-ray or 4K, but not. Vinegar Syndrome had announced that, and then they canceled it. I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, Trick or Treat is a horror anthology that came out in the, I think it's like 2007, 2008 or something. It's okay. I think it's fine. I never was over the moon about it, but it's amusing, and it has a lot of fans. It's first time ever 4K Ultra HD release. So I want to talk about that. And they've released a J Horror Rising, which is a new collection of horror films from this controversial director, Inugami, and St. John's Wort. Sorry. Carved Persona. You get Noroi, Noroi, and Shikhu Sola. And that's J Horror Rising, a new collection from I don't think it's the same director. I think these are just obscure horror films that Arrow has opted to release. I'm thinking of something else. I'm sorry, but these are on Blu-ray. So J Horror Rising is a new collection. And then finally, the last Arrow we're going to talk about is Hellraiser. Hellraiser Ultra HD, 4K Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth, and you get Hellraiser Bloodline. All four of those in Ultra HD for the first time ever from, domestically anyway, from Arrow Video. So that is quite a haul there. That's quite a stack of discs to talk about. They kind of had piled up, as you can see. And so I just wanted to discuss and show some of these titles that I have received. I thank you all for watching as usual. Feel free to like, subscribe, or comment. I love discussing these things with those of you who watch the videos. Even if we sometimes don't agree, that's fine. I did a recent video about horror films, and somebody came along and said they disagreed, which was fine. It's fine. I just love the discussion and the bantering, and it's all subjective, right? So anyway, until next time, keep those discs spinning.